Wildland fire is a growing problem in Canada. There's going to be more fire and more severe fire. It's critical that communities in forested landscapes take steps to reduce their risk to fire and increase their resiliency.
Jasper's a community in a mature lodgepole pine forest environment, and normally Parks Canada will manage fire risk in an area like this using a combination of techniques, prescribed fire and things like this. Starting in about 2013, the pine beetle problem started to develop, leading to a situation where the normal tools that we use, prescribed fire primarily, were no longer deemed to be safe and appropriate this close to a populated center like the community of Jasper.
The majority of the pine trees in the park or around the town site are affected, and when the pine beetle attacks the tree and eventually kills it, the fire risk increases for the next number of years. So over the last few years, we've had a very heightened fire risk in the community, around the community, because of the pine beetle, but also because of the fact that we live in the mountains and we live in the forest.
The project is primarily on what we call the Pyramid Bench, which is only a few hundred meters above town. And it is one of the most popular areas for people to recreate. There is a network of trails up there that people use summer and winter.
We did some, basically evaluated the area and came up with some strategic plans for forest fuel reduction.
So what we ended up embracing was the idea of doing mechanical fuel removal, which is essentially doing logging in a national park.
Locally, there was not a sense of trepidation about logging because it wasn't considered to be logging as such. Our community members recognized that this was an opportunity for fuel reduction to safeguard and protect our community. As we watched what happened in Slave Lake and then the devastating fire in Fort McMurray, the awareness was heightened, the perception of risk was certainly increased. And all that led, I think, to the realization that this was a necessary step and made it easy for the community to embrace the project that occurred up on our Pyramid Bench lands.
We selected Can4 to undertake the work after a fairly rigorous selection process. Parks Canada as an organization, of course, entered into this idea with a fair amount of trepidation. Logging at this scale in a national park is not something that we do. So we really had to weigh the visitor impacts and the ecological integrity of the site with the need to reduce that fire risk. So laying out the cut blocks was done with a great deal of care and attention to the trail network, to the possible wildlife effects, ensuring that we're only taking out as much as is necessary to give us that fire security that we were after.
It became very clear to us, almost right from the start, that this project was quite different from any of the other ones that we'd worked on before. Because not only was there the main objective of reducing the fire hazard to the town of Jasper, but there were numerous mitigation requirements that we had to complete as well.
It was not about doing a logging project, it was about doing a wildfire risk reduction project. A lot of very specific requirements in an impact assessment that had to be met in order to do the work in a national park.
Things like, maintaining wildlife habitat and avoiding disturbance to wildlife, minimizing disturbance to the soil was a really important one, and avoiding the creation of any new recreational trails. And all those things had to be done in a very prescribed fashion, according to how Parks had set that out, and meeting our economic requirements as well. And so that actually set us up for some major challenges.
One of the larger challenges is just in communication and having an effective problem-solving model.
We didn't really understand why Parks wanted to achieve certain objectives. To us, it was really all about reducing the fuel hazard or the fire hazard. And we didn't fully understand all the mitigations that Parks has required.
How can we reconcile some of these differences of whether it's technique, approach, or interest? And it really comes down to good communication. Communication
came with the building of a strong relationship and working very closely together over time. A second thing that I'd like to emphasize as an important lesson learned was for both parties to focus on the results and the objectives and not so much on the methods. I think that was one of the things that led to some problems at the beginning, was specifying very specific methods, many of which actually conflicted with one another and prevented us from achieving multiple objectives.
And it involved sitting down and looking at what our individual interests were and finding ways to move forward that was going to achieve both our interests. And it wasn't a gimme, and it wasn't because they came in perfect and we had given them a perfect plan. It was because of hard work and a lot of individuals working together in the field to actually make a successful project that both parties could be happy with.
Managing protected areas has always been a process of adaptation and learning as we go, and improving techniques and research and monitoring to learn from what we've done, and using tools that are outside of our normal toolbox and learning how to adjust to applying them has been the most interesting piece of this from my perspective.
I think one of the key lessons from this project is that logging can be used to reduce the fuel hazard in extremely sensitive areas. I mean, it really doesn't get more sensitive than Jasper National Park.
This project was very successful in the fact that it's added a huge level of safety to our community.
I think the broad consensus was that this is excellent. This is really good for our community.
I never once imagined that I'd eventually be responsible for logging in a national park at a scale like this. But having completed this project and seen the result and seen the sense of security and relief that it brings to a community like Jasper, I'm really proud of the work that we've done here.
The partners involved in this project are all really proud of the work that they've done, and they should be. The town, a national park, and a large forestry company are not your normal partners and collaborators. And the way they came together and delivered a project that had everybody, including the community, walking away feeling good about the project is one of the measures of its success.